Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of
Rating Arizona.
Beers, brought to you by the one, the only King's Beer and Wine, located in Midtown.
That's like in Central and Thomas. No, on Central and Thomas.
On Central Thomas?
In Midtown. Between Uptown and Downtown.
Correct. You have Midtown.
Boom. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. One of the best craft beer bar in the state.
Absolutely.
It is just run by amazing people. Selection is incredible. Tap list, beers to go, all of it. I mean, they do other stuff too. They do cider, they do wine and things like that. That's why it's called King's Beer and Wine. But we're here for the beer. That's what we do. So
we're here for the Arizona beer.
Yeah, Arizona
because
beer.
Because Arizona represents, man. I mean, we have some of the best breweries in the country. And
agreed.
You know, you try beers from other states and other places and stuff. And I mean, everyone makes really good beer, but there are some nuances to Arizona beer that makes us want to do this.
For sure.
You know, to let you guys know what to try and what to go do and help us out with
what
that.
To check out.
So, yeah, exactly. So.
This one I'm excited about too because this was one I first experienced them. I'd heard of them. They're newer, and I first experienced them at this last year's AZ Barrels, Bottles, and Brews put on by Salt River Fields. I hopped around to a few places. Tried this specific beer we're gonna break down here, and it ended up becoming. People would say, "Oh, where should we try?" They come over to our table and they'd be like, "Where should I try?" I'm like, "Go to
the brewery
at Tirrito Farms and get the Hellas Lager." And there was a couple other ones I recommended, but this one really impressed me. So very excited to share this one.
Yeah. So this is the brewery at Tirrito Farms. Hellas Lager coming in at 5.6% ABV. So what? Do you know anything? I'm on the brewery. I'm like kind of at a loss. I don't know.
It's either like Willcox, Sierra Vista area.
Yeah.
Somewhere down in that area. Do they say on here?
It does. It does.
Where?
Let's see if he finds it. I know where
there it is. Willcox. All right.
Yeah.
So I feel like they have. Well, it's a farm. I think the can is really cool because it's like a photo. Looks like a photo of maybe their tap room or something. I don't know what the hell's going on there. There's Northern Lights. It looks
like Northern Lights to me, but it's Arizona. I think. Yeah.
That's really, really cool. But I think that so they have over 16,000 grapevines. They have actually hop vines as well. So it's a destination farmstead.
Wow.
Gateway to the Chirachua National Monument.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. But no, they're doing a lot of stuff down there. I know I'm pretty sure it's a winery. I feel like it's a restaurant as well down there.
So you're getting the feel for it. So I'm saying you haven't done a Tap That AZ episode with the brewery?
No, not yet. I know.
We found something that he hasn't done.
I know. I've talked to him. I've talked to them. There was a dude. He was a homebrewer. I don't know if he was part of Ash. His name was Christian, and I can't remember what.
Christian Chandler?
No,
because he's Ash.
No,
great brewer, by the way.
Yeah, I've met Christian. Christian's a great dude. But no, Christian is he was a home brewer. He worked for the shop for a short period of time, but I think he's like the rep for these guys in the valley here.
Gotcha.
But met their head brewer and Christian at Barrels, Bottles, and Brews. Talked about doing an episode. Just a matter of like, all right, when am I going to get down to Willcox, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to, I don't want to just have them. Hey, next time you're in town, let's do it. I want to go down there. I want to check the place out.
Absolutely.
But Hellas Lager, very, very excited for this. So,
I love me a good Hellas Lager.
What is a Hellas Lager exactly?
Hellas Lager is a German beer. So it's in the German lager family, but Hellas is a little bit bigger, little bit bigger of a beer. Like, it's not like a Czech Pils or anything like that.
Yeah.
A little bit bolder on everything. Bolder on the grist, bolder on the hops. So a little bit hoppier, a little bit heavier, a little bit higher ABV. Not quite to the export level, but getting close to it.
Okay.
So it falls like in that realm of like the Dortmunder export to Czech Pils.
Okay.
It's like right in the middle of that kind of German beer.
Gotcha.
But yeah, super excited because I love. It's one of my favorite styles of beer, by the way. German beers. I mean, the Germans.
They're doing something right? Or have been for a long time.
They drink more beer than anybody, so they got to make it good.
I thought the Czech Republic was the most.
You better check yourself.
Dude, what is that? I want to. This is
A question for the brewery.
Well, kind of. Well, I was going to ask you this. I wanted to zoom in, like it was a screen. I can't. What is that? There's something flying over the mountains. It looks like a pterodactyl or something. You got old eyes like me too. You got to hold it far away.
No. So that's So this is a question for them.
Yeah, the brewery at Tirrito Farms. Tell us a little bit about the can art here, because I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
It seems like a little hidden gem in there. It looks like a pterodactyl flying over the mountains.
It does look like a pterodactyl. So they took a note from Simple Machine. It says pale to dark, and then there's a little star where it's closer to pale, and then it says low to high as far as IBU, and it's low on the scale. I'm sure you won't be able to see this, but
Marcus loves that.
Come on. Stop.
He hates those.
So stupid. Jesus Christ.
Well, this is unfiltered and unpasteurized, which is that common for Helles?
Absolutely.
I mean, unpasteurized.
Well, it's common for just craft beer
and unfiltered, unfiltered
breweries.
Yeah. So very interesting.
So when it says it's unfiltered, it just means it's naturally flocculate. It naturally flocks out, but it's golden color. Yeah, naturally flocks out.
That's my new album cover.
Bright white head on it, tight compact bubbles, not very carbonated.
Yeah, that concerns me a little bit, right? Because I'm a kind of a carbonation snob.
Yeah, we like to have our Helles carbonated and boisterous and because you get a liter of this and But anyways, let's get a drive-by aroma.
That smells like beer.
It smells like a German beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely does have your typical German noble hop or your German hops, you definitely do have probably a Saaz or a Mittelfra, probably a Hallertau. Hallertau Mittelfra is probably in there. Late edition has that, nice earthiness, that nice herbalness kind of thing. Definitely has German yeast, you get that nice crisp German yeast in there from that lagering. So, it smells like a Helles.
Tradition, it says hops. Tradition and Hersbrucker.
Yeah, Hersbrucker.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so Hersbrucker's, so Mittelfra, yeah. So Hersbrucker is Hersbrucker Mittelfra.
The fuck did you say to me?
Yeah, that's what I said.
You heard me.
But yeah, super clean. Definitely a well-executed Helles on the aroma.
How, let's get a drink of this thing before we get too out of hand here.
Maya and I today are sharing one for real.
That's good. A little undercarbonated, right, for me?
It's undercarbonated, which is making it taste a little sweet.
I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
If the carbonation level was kicked up a notch higher, it'd be more effervescent.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't taste, you know what I mean? It wouldn't taste as, because a Helles should be, because again, the grain bill's higher, so it should drink a little kind of sweet. You know what I mean? So there is more sweetness there compared to a Czech Pils, for instance. But honestly, it's really good.
Really good. Absolutely. Well, and there's so many different things that can happen between for that carbonation to go away, right? When you're packaging, first of all, the process of packaging, and I always think of it too as, and maybe this is not right for me to think of it this way, but breweries that come out of the gates packaging, once again, there's a learning curve for that, right?
For sure.
So my question would be is this beer meant to have that carbonation level, or is there just kind of something missing between here through the packaging process?
No, I think, and as far as the Helles is concerned, it should definitely be, the carbonation level should be bumped up a little bit higher than it is in this beer. But yeah, it definitely should have had, I poured mine pretty hard too, but yeah, it definitely should have a good foamy head on it. Again, when you get a beer in Germany, they put a nice thick, luscious head on there.
It actually
you know?
comes over the glass, right?
Yeah. It just and it holds itself too the whole way when you're drinking. You know,
Yeah.
it'll keep the head the whole way. So when you pour hard and it dissipates really quickly, that means the carbonation level's lower than it probably should be.
Yeah.
and it does it does affect the beer and the way it
For sure.
tastes and the way it presents itself to you.
Yep. And for me, honestly, if I order a beer like this, right, and I get, I love the taste of it.
Oh, for sure.
But I wouldn't order another one because of that lower carbonation.
Yeah.
Right. But once again, that's why I want to get down to the brewery itself, have the beers on draft, like, see what is the intention, like what is the, how are they intending you to taste this beer and have this beer, right? Because like we said, so many things can happen between, putting it in the package and us cracking this can open. But not to say that that's a bad thing at all, because I think this is a great beer, honestly.
Yeah. So and we're just knocking it over the carbonation, right? But as far as the flavor is concerned, I mean, it is on point. I mean,
For sure.
The lagering process and the yeast that they used and the hops that they used and all that stuff is on point. So it is on point as far as the Helles is concerned. Yeah, but the carbonation level, like you said,
Yeah.
it is just a little low.
If anybody's listened to the show, they know that I
You are carbonation.
Yeah, carbonation's a big deal.
Well,
to
I
me.
mean, if you take the beer and you kind of swish it in your mouth a little bit, it's still,
create that carbonation.
you could create the carbonation, but it still dies a little quickly, a little faster than it should. Getting some shout outs over here from some of the patrons at King's Beer Wine.
Cap's he's said he's been in the beer industry for 20, 30 years.
Yeah. And actually, I was told by Sarah, one of the owners, that he comes in, he's allowed to come in like 10 to 15 minutes early.
Oh, no shit.
Before open.
That's awesome.
Because he comes like 10 to 15 minutes early. And then as soon as she sees him out there, she's like, okay, I'm going to let him in. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Once again, that's what's great about Kings. They have... They're building community and they're making these relationships, right? This guy, he's a great guy. I don't know what the hell he's doing right now. He's making some weird faces at somebody, but no, it's great, man. I love Kings and I love this beer. I really do. I'm not gonna knock this beer and I'm not gonna trash it or for any, because it's a little lower carbonated than what I would like.
Yeah.
But yeah, the brewery at Tirrito Farms, and I was reading this a little bit more. It is a craft brewery, restaurant, event center, and more.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're doing some really cool stuff down there. Yeah.
So let's like grade wise, it gets a hell. I mean, and I've had a lot of Helles, a lot. And as a matter of fact, I was at Wren House yesterday and had their Helles.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So before we go into a grade of this, what are some of the better Helleses you've had?
They're usually just like German beers,
meaning like ones that you
like
could
Weisstefan, or you know what I mean, like from Germany.
Gotcha.
I mean, they don't travel as well as most beers do, but they still end up being really, really good.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah. But honestly, Wren House, they put together some great German beers.
Oh, dude, Wren House just does great beers. Preston and his team are just they're badasses, man, for sure.
But this is a really good example of the beer as well.
Dark Sky has a really good Helles too.
Oh, yeah, haven't had their.
Really like Dark Sky's Helles. So I would say the ones that I can compare it to. I'll give this thing a 9 with an asterisk, meaning like this is a 9 for me. I remember having it. You're saying higher?
No. The carbonation level, maybe.
Yeah. And I remember having it at AZ Barrels, Bottles, and Brews, and the carbonation was on point at that point. So with this iteration, this coming out of a can, this is a 9 for me, but still a really great score. I would probably, if that carbonation was up a little bit, this would be a 9.75 probably. Yeah. Maybe the best Helles lager I've had.
Wow.
Yeah. Now I haven't experienced the traditional ones, right? But I love this beer.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. Darn it. Dang 12-ounce cans.
Yeah, right. Come on. All right, that is the one thing.
I'm at like at 8.9.
Okay.
I'm at an 8.9 with it. I really, really like it. I like the profile. I like the flavor. I like the balance of it. I like the hops. I like the character, all that stuff. I love it all. But again, it does. The carbonation level is low on it. But I think, like you said, if you had it on draft, You know what I mean? Coming out of the draft, and it's
Yeah.
like fluffy and foamy, and you're
sure.
like, whoa. Then
Yeah.
that's a sexy beer.
Yes, absolutely. So Tirrito Farms, if you guys are listening, watching, just invite me out, and maybe I'll come down and
You have to do a tap that. I mean,
I don't come down to the spot.
I don't think
yeah.
you're a actual legit brewery until you have a Tap That AZ episode. No, serious. Like that's like, I mean,
I hate to disagree,
you,
but
you legitimize breweries.
dang, thanks, buddy.
You do, man.
My
You do.
face. You see my face get red. It's the greatest moment of my life. All right, man. So I got a 9. You got an 8.9. Great beer. Tirrito Farms. Nice work. Keep up the
Great
great
job.
work. Really cool to see your beers up in the valley.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, and at a place like King's, right? Because first of all, King's is just awesome, but they're also selective as to what they, we've
Very selective.
We've talked about, how do you decide like what you're going to bring in and all this stuff, and they've got a rigorous process to make sure that they're providing their customers and their patrons with the best of the best, right? So just because you're local, just because you're craft, just because of this or that, just because you're checking some boxes doesn't mean that you're gonna, that you're going to be brought in to King's.
Just to quickly, like a side note, and I know we're probably going longer than we should, but Mark, one of the owners, I had told him, I was starting to brew professionally over at Patent 139, put beers on tap, and I was like, hey, we're brewing this IPA and whatever, you want to put it on tap at King's? And he's just like, bring me a sample. I'm like, what? You're not going to just put it on tap?
Dude.
And that's King's Beer and Wine.
I respect that. I respect
Hell
that
yeah, I
for
respect
sure.
that.
Right, because the relationships that you build with the industry is important. But this is who it's about. Like these people sitting at this bar, like they're coming in, they're spending their free time, they're spending their hard-earned money on drinks. Right, and you are curating this list of, if you're just putting whatever, if you're putting Marcus's weak ass,
crazy ass, hazy, nasty ass IPA.
but no, I respect them for that. But I tell you what, if you're a brewery and you're bringing your A game, King's is the spot to bring your beer to.
Amen, brother.
So cheers to Tirrito Farms for making the cut. Cheers to King's. Cheers to you, buddy.
Cheers to you, brother.
Brewery 602.